Assalamualaikum and a very good morning to all SSCB and SSCG students who enroll in Analytical Chemistry Practical, which the code of this course is SSCK1891. Actually, I wait for the participant to reach 100 before, because you are almost 120, I thought. Because at 8:30 in the morning, only 40% join this WebEx. But as I said that the attendance for this briefing is compulsory. So please ask your friends who didn't join yet. You just got the link. You are not in the WhatsApp group. Okay, please scan the attendance. For those who didn't scan the attendance yet, please scan the attendance. Oh, I sent it yesterday. Maybe you just joined the group. Oh, really? I didn't send it in the group? No, oh, sorry, my text was pending yesterday. So for those who have this link, where do you get it from your lecturers? All right. Okay, sorry for some technical error yesterday. My text was pending in the group. So luckily you have the link. It's okay. Okay, good. Thank you, Teo. All right, it's okay. So that I'm sorry for some errors. Okay, luckily you have another group that have the link for this WebEx. All right, so never mind. So we'll start soon. For those who didn't scan the attendance yet, I will share it again after this. That's why there are less participants in the group. It is because you didn't know the WebEx link. It's okay. I'm sorry for the technical error.
Sorry, doctor. You muted yourself.
Oh, sorry. Okay. Assalamualaikum, ma'am. Very good morning to all of you again. Welcome to the lab briefing session. Good morning also to all the fellow lecturers who joined the session. Right, welcome to lab briefing session of Analytical Chemistry Practical SSCK 1891 for SSCB and SSCG students from Department of Bioscience, Faculty of Science. SSCB is for Industrial Biology, am I correct?
Yes, doctor.
And then SSCG for Pure Biology, right?
Yes, doctor.
Right, there are hundreds and I think more than hundreds from all four sections, right? To be exact, never mind, I will see that after this. Okay, so for today's session, this is compulsory for all of you to know about the to how we going to handle this analytical chemistry practical SSCK 1891 in the pandemic situation. Okay, we need to do this briefing session within this week because you are still in the isolation session, right? Isolation period, right? At the hostel for most of you, or already finished the isolation period?
Already finished, doctor.
Already finished. So there are some of you who text me that she or he didn't manage to come and or to join this briefing session because they are in the process of moving from the isolation place to the permanent hostel. But not so many, and I asked them to find the suitable time to join as well. All right. So our course is SSCK1891. Analytical chemistry practical. Okay. I am Dr. Faizwan Abdullah, the coordinator for this course. Okay. Together with me, I will introduce after this your lecturers. Okay. And what we're going to explain today is about all the lecturers and the lab assistants, about the course information for this practical session and the lab manual, safety guidelines, what about the experiments, and question and answer session. Okay. So as an introduction, for section 1 and section 2, you guys are from SSCG, pure biology. Okay, am I correct? Okay, for section 3 and 4, you guys are from SSCB, which are from industrial biology. Okay, so bear in mind, our lab session will be on every Thursday starting at 8 a.m. in the morning. Okay, and the lab will be done alternately every week for each section in SSCG and SSCB. You note that, right? You notice that, right, in the schedule?
Yes, doctor.
Okay, all right. So we're gonna perform, or we're gonna done of 4 experiments, okay, that must be completed within this semester. And you need to do the lab report, okay. It must be submitted after 1 week of every experiment, okay. Meaning that if, for example, next week your section 1 and section, maybe section 1 and section 3 will start the experiment. So after 1 week, meaning that during the at another week, you need to submit your lab report for the previous experiment. Okay. Okay. Now know your lab instructors. Okay. For this section 1 and section 2. Okay. The lab will be at C18102, which is called Magmal Analysis 2. Okay. Analytical Chemistry Lab 2. Your lecturers. Okay. The first one is me, Dr. Faizwan Abdullah. And then the second one is chemist Dr. Amy Shazwani Abdul Kayon. Dr. Amy, are you here? Can you introduce yourself?
Hello, Assalamualaikum. Okay, you can hear.
Salam.
Okay, hi, I'm Dr. Amy Shazwani. I'm the ethical chemistry lecturer, and we are going to fun lah with the experiments this semester, and we have 4 experiments as going to be explained by Dr. Faizwan later.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Amy. Okay, just call her Dr. Amy. Okay, and me, just call me Dr. Faizwan. Okay, so together with us, we have our lab assistant, all right, which is Mr. Abdul Rahim Ali. Mr. Abdul Rahim, are you here? I also invite them, actually. Cik Rahim, ada ke? But it's okay. I put his photo here so you know him. Okay, we will meet him at the lab session. Okay, so what we're gonna do is we will be there at the lab session alternately. Okay, me and Dr. Amy. Okay, for example, next week Dr. Amy will be there with section 1. And I will be in the lab for section 2, okay, another week, okay. But it is not, just like that. Maybe sometimes both of us will be at the lab, okay. Or if Dr. Amy have something important to present, so I have to be there to replace her. So you must know that me, okay, Dr. Amy and me will be in charge for section 1 and 2, okay, which is at the C18102 Matmal Analysis Tour. Okay, so know your lecturer and your lab assistant. Right, for the next section, we have Dr. Naji and Dr. Hasmiria. Okay, the lab will be at C19307 Matmal Analysis 3, Analytical Chemistry Lab 3. Okay, Dr. Naji, are you here? You can introduce yourself. Technologist Dr. Naji Arafat Mahat. Or maybe Dr. Naji is not here. And Dr. Hasmiria, are you here?
Yes, I am. Dr. Naji
Okay.
is having program in Putrajaya. So
Okay. All right.
Okay.
So Dr. Hasmiria, you can introduce yourself to our students.
Hi, Assalamualaikum, and a very good morning to everyone. I am Dr. Asmeria. You can call me Dr. Has. I'll be monitoring and advising your lab with Dr. Naji, and inshallah we'll do hands-on activities in a lot of experiments. I hope it will be a very beneficial experiment for all of you. Okay, thank you.
All right, thank you so much, Dr. Has. Okay, and Dr. Naji, you must call him Dr. Naji. Okay, the short name of him. Okay, and then we have Mr. Faiz, Mr. Muhammad Faiz Muhammad Fuad. Are you here, Mr. Faiz? Maybe he's not here. Okay, all right. So our lab assistant will be Mr. Muhammad Faiz. Okay, you will meet him at the lab after this. Okay, bear in mind section 3 and section 4 from industrial biology. Your lecturers are, the first one, technologist Dr. Naji Arafat Mahat or Dr. Naji, and then chemist Dr. Hasmiria Ma'ruf or Dr. Has. And your lab assistant is Mr. Muhammad Faiz, Muhammad Fuad, call him Encik Faiz or Mr. Faiz. Okay. Okay. About the lab manual, it is given in the e-learning. You have noticed that. Okay, you can print it out or just refer through online. Okay, go green. Okay, and you must know that, bear in mind, you must do the logbook or jotter book before experiments. Before every experiment, before you enter the lab, you must do this experiment planning or logbook for every experiment. Okay, do not directly copy whatever written in the lab manual, but please use your own diagrams and your own understanding to create the flow of the experiment. Okay, sorry. The another point is in bahasa Melayu. I thought there are international students in this both course, right? So, sediakan pengiraan sebelum sesi amali, meaning that you have to calculate everything that you need to calculate before the lab session. Right, the logbook mark will be also considered. Okay. Okay. Logbook will be always checked during the experiment session. Okay. All right, but the lab safety rules and guidelines, it must be followed by everyone. Okay. Your lab coat. You already have your lab coat.
Yes, doctor. Already have.
Okay, you have. Good. Okay. So your lab coat must be the normal one, just like this. Okay. White in color. All right. And not so fit. Okay. Because some of you, they alter the lab coat to be, fit to their body. Please don't do that. Okay. Please don't use another color of lab coat or hipster lab coat. Okay. Or plastic lab coat. Okay. Like this, this photo, this diagram. Okay. Pink color lab coat. No, you're not allowed to do so. Okay. All right. Please wear a proper shoes. Okay. The shoes that covered your foot. All right. Please don't wear the shoes like this. Okay. Heels, sandals, and so on. Okay. Remember, if you don't follow these easy rules, for example, I have done it previously. I asked the students to go back to their hostel or change their shoes with someone that she or he knows, so that he or she can enter the lab again. Okay, it is strictly for me. If you meet me in the lab, okay, you must follow the guidelines. Okay, for the safety rules. All right, socks. Okay, the preferred socks are just a normal socks. Okay, the short one is not so, it's not advised for me lah. Okay, of course the the baby socks also not advised to wear. Okay, in the lab we will see a lot of chemicals with a lot of label, a lot of type of labels. Okay, that you need to know. Okay, you need to take a precaution. Okay. All right, some of them are oxidizing agents, some of them are explosive, flammable, all right, dangerous, radioactive, and so on. So before you use the chemical, you must know about the chemicals behavior properties. All right, and you are not allowed to to take or to use any chemicals that are not provided for your experiments. Please ask the lab assistant first, okay, before you want to take some chemicals or anything else at the lab, right? This is segregation in the lab, right? This is a storage of the chemical in the lab. There are various type of colors in the lab for the storage. Some of them are for flammable, for toxic, okay, for corrosive, okay, and so on, for pesticide and so on, right? So as we are in the pandemic situation, okay, we must practice the new normal, okay, to prevent the COVID-19 outbreak. Individual with respiratory symptoms, okay, must avoid, for those who have some health problem, especially these respiratory symptoms, you are not allowed to come to the lab session. You must tell me, or you must tell your lecturers, or yes, you must tell your lecturers. Because maybe someday you are not feeling well, okay, you have a fever or cough or something, you must tell us that you cannot join the lab session because due to your health problem, and then you need to prove it. Okay, you are UTM students, you need to show the proof from Pusat Kesihatan University. Okay, so practice the normal, avoid visiting public places or crowded places, meaning that for this for this practical session, you need to avoid spending a lot of time in the crowded place. Okay, do social distancing, wash your hands frequently. Okay, where this is compulsory to wear your face mask every time in the lab. Okay, and if you not feeling well, get early treatment and tell your travel history to the attending physician and tell your lecturer as well. Okay, so bear in mind, for experiment 3 and experiment 4, we are using instruments that are not placed in the lab. It is in separated room. It is in a separate room at another building. So, for example, AS for experiment 3 and gas chromatography for experiment 4. Okay, the room for this instrument are small, and only 8 persons allowed to enter at every session. Okay, meaning that if you go there after you prepare your sample in the lab, your experiments in the lab, if you go there and you see that there are already one or two group, okay, one group for 4 persons, okay, maximum 2 groups, 8 persons in the instrument room, so you must wait outside, okay, until one or both of the group members, okay, come out from the instruments room. Okay, do not come to the lab session if you are not feeling well, as I told before this, and always practice your self hygiene. Okay, before Q&A session, I would like to go through the lab manual and also the lab schedule. Okay, wait for a while. I will share the content with you. right, this is our lab manual, okay, provided in the e-learning for every section, okay. Our code for this course is SSCK1891, right? So we are now at week 6, okay, for the lab briefing, okay, and next week, okay, for section 1 SSCG and section 3 SSCB, you're gonna start your experiments, okay. You will you will do your experiments in your own group. You have at least 3 persons for one group and maximum of 4 persons in one group, okay. You must do the experiments alternately, okay. For example, for next week, experiment 1 will be done by team 1 and 2, and then experiment 2 will be done by team 3 and 4, experiment 3 by team 5 and 6, and experiment 4 by team 7 and 8. And then it is also similar for the next week, because the another week is, the lab session will be for section 2 and section 4, okay. All right. And then you will alternately do the experiments, and every team will do different experiment in different weeks until you finish all 4 experiments, okay. And bear in mind that week 9 is mid-semester break for Hari Raya, okay. And then we will continue the lab session in week 10, all right, 11, 12 until week 15, because we start the lab session quite late at week 7, so your lab session will be end at week 15, just before the revision week, all right. Okay, that is for the lab schedule. Okay, we have together all 4 experiments. Okay, we go through by pages of this lab manual. Okay, I just read it because it's important, because next week you're gonna start your experiments, so you must follow all the rules and regulations, okay, that I will explain after this, including the lab reports, criteria, and so on. Okay, the first one is attendance. Attendance is compulsory. Students who are unable to attend any particular laboratory period must show valid reason for their absence, in which case they are allowed to repeat the experiments at a suitable time arranged by the lecturers. Meaning that if you cannot attend the lab session, please tell us, okay? And then we will arrange the suitable time for you to perform the experiments, to complete all 4 experiments. Those who are absent without any valid reason will not be allowed to repeat experiments, and 0 mark will be recorded for that particular experiment. So preparation, the key to efficiency in the lab is preparation. Be prepared before doing a particular experiment, okay, including you read the procedures and you do the jotter book, okay. Some experiments take longer than other due to variability of instrument. Okay, for example, experiment 3 and 4. But the biggest determinant will be your preparation. Meaning that if you prepare well before you enter the lab, you know what you're going to do in the lab. You have planned well. Okay, and then you will finish preparing your samples or your experiments early, and then you can go to the instruments early, and then you can finish early. Okay. You are recommended to consult with your group members before the lab period to divide responsibilities. Okay, you must, you have 4 members in one group. Okay, so you must do divide the responsibilities well. Okay, you know what your own role during the experiment, so that it saves your time during the experiment. Okay, and then you can go back early. Okay, it is also important that you are considerate of your lab partners and arrive at lab on time. Okay. Laboratory logbook. Okay, you are required to maintain a laboratory logbook. The logbook must be a bound notebook with a content page, right? The index entry and numbered page. Your index entry should indicate the experiment location in the book. Okay, for example, you do page 1 for experiment 1. Okay, enter the full title of each experiment, of course, not only the page number. Okay, summarize this procedure. And please, for me, I will always check the date of your experiment. You put there, your experiment have been done, when, okay? What is the date of your experiment? We will check it every day. No worries, okay? Working group, you will be assigned to a lab group, as I told before. Right, you must understand each other and divide your responsibilities. All right, assessment, student will be assessed according to the methods proposed in the course outline. Okay, we will go to the course outline after this. Provided on the laboratory notice board, or for right now, we provide it in the e-learning. The assessment items include 80% of lab reports and 20% of lecturers' observation and logbook, content and completeness. You see there, logbook is also important for your marks, okay? And of course, we observe you, okay, how you perform the experiments in the lab. Okay, lab report. Copying of reports is strictly forbidden. Up to 50% marks can be deducted. Okay, as for my section, and actually I want to ask Dr. Hasmira as well. For my section, Dr. Amy, we must, the student must submit their lab report handwritten, right?
If it's a previous lab session before, it's depending on the lecturer. If let's say you want to ask them to write by hand, the possibility of copying is high. But if let's say you ask them to type with computer, you can have the option of putting it inside, turn it in.
Okay.
But it's up to you.
All right. Because I noticed that if they do with the computer type lab report, they just copy and paste. Okay.
Yeah, that's why we have the turn in to detect the copy paste.
So can we decide now?
For me, for our section, we have decided with I have decided with Dr. Naji. We have discussed, and we decide on handwriting, and a very clear handwriting, not like chincai handwriting.
Because Dr. Amy, if for my engineering students, I also ask them to do handwritten lab report because we can detect the copying or if the group members are not participate in the lab report easily without using the turn it in.
Okay.
Right. So we decide to use handwritten. Okay.
Okay.
Right, because it's also save our time to check, to turn it in and so on. And for sure, I think they will do it. Yes, some of them will do it last minute and they didn't rephrase whatever they take from the reference, and that's just copy and paste. But there also, possibility for them to just copy through, by the handwritten report. But I think it is less, probability than just copy and paste directly without any understanding of the reference. So I must tell all of you that direct copy, okay, or just copy and paste from the reference for the lab report, or you just copy from another lab report of your seniors and so on, we can detect that because we have handled this lab session for for some times. Okay, bear in mind that if you copy, we will strictly give you 0 mark. Am I correct, Dr. Amy?
Yes.
Because it is unethical for you. You must know your experiment, discuss your own data, discuss your own results, and come up with your own understanding on your lab report, not to just copy and paste. So we are strictly, we'll do that. We will give 0 for those who just copy the lab report. Okay, 2 by your own effort. Okay, by your own effort in by each of the group members. Okay, so we decide that the lab report must be in handwritten. Okay, all the group members must participate in the lab report. Okay, right. Submission and collaboration. Lab report are due 1 week after the completion of an experiment, unless specified otherwise. So we decide 1 week. Reports must be written in English. Each lab report is to be written in collaboration of 2 to 4. Okay, we have 4 now, students in one group. Okay, all report must be submitted using a standard report cover. I have provided the lab report cover in the e-learning, so use that. Okay, use that lab report cover for every experiment. Right there your your group members name. Lecturers, you must write it full name. Okay, a right name. Your section must be right. Your course must be right. Okay, and one more extra thing that I need you to do is you write your team number at the top of the lab cover report. What is your team number? I have I have divided the team for every of you. Team 1, 2, 3, 4 until 8, I think. Okay, right at the top of the lab report, your team number as well. Okay, formatting. Okay, the report must be print out of approximately. Oh, this is not print out. Okay, you must do handwritten. Okay. What is the content for the lab report? The first one, of course, the title. Okay, the table of contents. Okay, the abstract, the introduction. If you have if you have go through the scientific report in journal article and so on, this is the format that they use. They have abstract, they have introduction, materials and methods. Okay, results, discussion, conclusion, and references. Okay, I will explain each of these contents marks criteria. Okay, so detail of the report content. Okay, title and student information. Okay, table of content. Okay, all right. So for the abstract includes introductory statement of problem, research methodology, results, the main points, and concluding statement. Okay, for the introduction, it must include a concise summary of what you have did. Okay, and why. Include a statement of purpose and introduction into the technique used. Okay, it must be, if you write a report, it must be in past tense, right? Especially for the materials and methods. Okay, briefly discuss advantages and disadvantages of the technique and why it was used to analyze the samples in the experiment. Okay, for materials and method, contains all relevant experiment procedures, materials, parameters, including instruments, analysis. All right, and you must do it in past tense. All right, so result, presentation of data using tables or illustration as appropriate according to experiments. Right, illustration, graph, and tables should be clearly labeled. Units must be clearly stated and consistency of significant figures maintained. Use linear regression for a calibration curve. Okay, for example, we have some experiments that are using calibrations curve, plots. All right. Show report the linear equation and correlation coefficient are square. Right. Show only one example calculation for replicates, but include the results for all trials. For replicate determination, the average standard deviations and relative percentage standard deviation must be reported. Calculate the percentage error when comparing results with a known value. Okay, they're written there how to calculate the errors. Okay, and the example of tables and so on. So discussion, show all recorded data values to the significant digit that is reported by the instrument. Data and final results must be arranged in tables appropriately labeled in correct units. Okay, you must include all formulas and example equation used to do your calculation and show only one example calculation for triplicates, similar with the results section. Okay. Right, demonstrate knowledge to the experiment. the technique used and general knowledge of chemistry. Okay, here you must include your reference. Okay, so you cite it here, and you must list down your reference at the end of the report. Okay, keep discussion focused on the experiment that was performed. Okay, don't discuss about another experiment. Please be focused to discuss only about that experiment, that particular experiment. Describe the major objective of the experiment, explain why the lab was done, and make valid conclusion based on the observation. Right? Explain your result and principal calculations, and state whether or not your results are accurate and why you think so or don't think so. Okay? If your result is not accurate, if your result is not accurate, okay, so discuss it. Why? What happened? Is there some errors happen? Okay, just discuss it. Okay. Answer specific question asked. Describe problems encountered. Discuss the source of errors. Okay. Source and propose why they happen. Okay. Report any suggestion for improvement to avoid these errors. Do not make silly comments such as the lab is too long. Okay, this is not so good in the report. Or the lab write-up was too much work. Okay, you must avoid to use these silly comments. These comments do not belong in an analytical chemistry lab report. Okay, you must comment it at the right place. Okay, tell us what is your comments about the lab session, not in the lab report. Conclusion, okay, it should reflect understanding of the chemical theory involved. Example, why did you get those results? How do they compare to real data? You might want to talk about how this experiment will be applicable to real world problems and how it could be adjusted to do so. Okay. Conclusion must be short and precise. Do not make it too long. Okay. Just put whatever the criteria that have been told here. Right. Some of you, of your seniors, they write the conclusion in a very long paragraph. Okay, that is not so good. That is not discussion, it's conclusion. If you want to discuss, just put it in the discussion. All right, at least for the references, at least 30% of the references must be from journals. Okay, from journal papers and citations. Okay, meaning that you must include the journals in your references, not only book or websites or so on. Okay, reference must be written with a correct format. Consult the internet or your instructor for the correct way to write the reference. Okay, for example, we have EndNote or Mendeley to assist us in writing the reference. Okay, you can get it at the UTM library website. Okay, as a UTM student, you know that you can download a journals. Okay, paper journals, a research article for free using the library website. You know that UTM online database. You know that, or you didn't know yet, or you don't know that particular portal yet. You must go online UTM online database. Okay, you must log in with your username and password, and then you can select which journals that you want, and you can search it there, right? And you also, if you have EndNote and Mendeley, you can download the citation, and then just use the software to list down your references. Okay, go to the UTM library website, PSZ, okay, Perpustakaan Susana Zanaria website. All right, this is example of the references. Okay, I think this is already in UTM format. Right, as I told previously about the lab safety and precautions, wear closed shoes, right, lab coat and eye protection, for example, for certain experiment, if you ask to do so. Okay, this is a really important thing. Do not eat, drink or taste anything in the lab. Do not even bring your food or drinks in the lab. Right, it is forbidden to bring your food and drinks in the lab. Okay, put it outside. We have the kind of a bench or what we call that. Okay, a place there outside of the lab to put all the things, your bags and so on. Okay, know where to find how to use all safety and first aid equipment. Okay, if you are at the lab, okay, we will brief you, or you can ask us anytime. Okay, learn the location and operation of fire protection devices. Okay, consider all chemical to be hazardous. As I told you, if you don't, just easily use any chemicals that you want that not provided for your experiments. Okay, you must tell us first. Okay, don't touch any chemical that are not allowed to do so. Okay, consider it all of them are hazardous unless you are instructed otherwise. Dispose all chemicals as directed by your instructor and lab assistants. Okay, chemical splash near the eye must be rinsed with a fountain. Okay, we have a fountain in the lab, or we have a sink. Okay, a tap water and sink in the lab. So wash chemical that splash onto your body, especially near to your eye, okay, with the fountain or a lot amount of water. And if the chemical come into contact with your skin or eyes, immediately and then consult your instructor. Tell us, okay? Avoid rubbing your eyes unless you know that your hands are cleaned. Do not perform any unauthorized experiments. This is very important. You are, you are instructed. You are, allowed only to do your experiments that have been asked by us. Okay. Do not do another experiments in the lab. Okay. Perform in the fume hood any reactions involving skin irritating or dangerous chemicals or unpleasant odor like acids, okay, base and so on. Okay. Never directly smell the source of any vapor or gas. Instead, by means of your cup hand, bring a small sample to your nose. Macam ni kan? Like this. Just take, this is, we are not advised to, smell the source of any vapor or gas directly like this. If this is a bottle of chemical, just directly at this. Okay. As a chemist, we must do like this. Okay. We must, what they mean here. Cup hand. Okay. Use it like this. Cup hand. Bring a small sample to your nose like this. All right. Don't directly smell any chemicals. Do not use flammable reagents such as alcohols, ethers, and acetons near the flame. Never point a test tube that you are hitting at yourself or your friends. Okay. Keep the lab clean. Okay. Bear in mind, you must bring your own lab towel. Okay. Similar with your lab coats, the towel are not provided. So you must bring your own lab towel, a small towel, to clean your bench and also to clean your apparatus. Okay. Normally, I will ask in every group, you must have, for example, you have 4 person, you must have at least two towel, small towel. The first one is used to clean your bench, right, after experiments or during your experiments. The second one is to clean your apparatus. You must not use the same towel to clean your apparatus. We are in the analytical chemistry lab. Any simple mistakes that you perform during experiment, it will affect your results. Okay. For example, if you do experiment 3 using atomic absorption spectrophotometer, okay, you do some errors, okay, some contaminants affect your in your samples, okay, it will affect your results. Okay, so you must be careful. You must for every group must have at least 2 towels, one for the to clean the bench and so on, and then another towel is used to clean your apparatus. Okay, keep the lab clean. Please keep the lab clean and clean out all broken glassware immediately. If you have broke some glassware, the first one you need to do is tell instructors and tell the lab assistant, and then you need to clean it by yourself in your group. Okay. Never pour water into acid. Okay, this is a really common one as a chemist. Okay, you are a biologist, also you need to know that. Never pour water into acid. Okay, avoid acid spatter. To insert glass tubing, thermometers into stoppers or pipette into fillers, keep your hand as close together as possible in order to reduce the leverage or not, you will break the thermometers, okay, and the mercury will come out. That is very dangerous. Okay, lubricate with water if necessary, and wrap the rod in a towel and slide it into the rubber stopper with a twisting motion. This is we will show you in the lab after this. You cannot imagine this. Okay, dispose of excess reagents as instructed. Never return reagent to the reagent bottle. Okay, let's say you have take some reagents from the chemical bottles that provided there in your lab. Okay, let's say you have finished using the reagent and there are some remain reagent, okay, excess reagent. You are not allowed to put again the reagent into the bottles. Okay, please dispose it in the provided chemical disposable tank. Okay, please do not put your excess reagent back into the chemical bottles, because it will affect the quality of the chemicals. Okay, it will be contaminated. All right. Use only distilled and deionized water, distill or deionized water, unless instructed to do otherwise, for every purpose. Okay, especially to clean your apparatus, the glassware, and so on. When wigging, pay extra attention so that you are not pour chemicals on the balance. Cool hot objects to room temperature before wigging them. Place a piece of tile under a hot object when cooling it on the bench top. Okay, this you will know is you will know all these things in the lab after this. Okay, bring a small towel. I have told you so. All right, for easy cleanup. Remember, keep your working area clean. Any mess should be cleaned immediately, because we need to avoid all the all the hazards happen in the lab. Okay, we must minimize the hazards. Okay, if you have spilled some water on the bench or on the floor, please clean it immediately. Any mess should be cleaned immediately. Glassware should be washed before leaving the lab. This is compulsory. All right, this is the experiment. We have 4 experiments. Sorry, okay, we have 4 experiments. Okay, experiment 1 is about gravimetric determination of nickel. Experiment 2 is about complexometric titration. Experiment 3 is about determination of zinc using AAS, atomic absorption spectroscopy. Experiment 3 and 4 using in instruments that is outside of the lab. This is what I told you. You need to do social distancing. Make sure in the instrument room there are only 8 persons. If there are already 8% inside the room, so please wait outside. Okay. Experiment 3 is using AAS, determination of nickel. Experiment 4 is separation of selected flammable compound using gas chromatography. This is also an instrument that is placed outside of the lab. Okay. So similar, please do social distancing. Do not enter the lab unless you are the 8% from the lab is come up already. Right now, I want to go through the course information. You have already seen this in the your e-learning. Okay. There are your lecturer's name there. Okay, I'm the coordinator. Right, you have our emails and phone number there and our office. Okay, this is the course learning outcome. Okay, I must read this. Okay, we have 4 course learning outcome for this course. The first one is CLO1, identify and practice appropriate laboratory safety and procedure in organizing experimental work. You see, it is in the course learning outcome for you to practice an appropriate discipline, especially regarding the safety and procedure while doing your experiments. Number 2 is recognize and describe correct techniques and procedures, including handling of chemicals and apparatus. Okay, because analytical chemistry is about your skill, your own skill to handle the experiments. If you do mistakes, it will affect your results. Okay, that is analytical chemistry. So please be careful. Okay, please obey all the protocols. Okay, read the manuals properly in handling experiments. Okay, number 3 is describe and organize experimental data using scientific skills. This is while writing your report. So CLO3 will apply there for you to describe and organize experimental data using scientific skills in measuring and recording data and applying data analysis techniques. And CLO4 is interpret, analyze, and discuss results using relevant principle. This is in your lab report as well, when you discuss your lab report. Relevant principle, scientific knowledge, reasoning, and personal judgment. Right, the assessment method for CLO1 is through our observation, lecture observation, logbook, and laboratory work. Okay, this is not in from your report. Okay, from your report is starting from CLO3. For CLO2, right, for techniques and procedures handling the chemicals and apparatus, it is also in your logbook and your lab work. We will observe you, and then CLO3, we will assess you from your logbook and also your lab report. Similar with CLO4, we will assess it in your lab report. All right, so this is the lab schedule that I've showed you previously. Right, this total learning time, student learning time. Okay. Okay, this is lab report. Okay, the percentage of every lab report is 25%. So if if you get 0 for one lab report, meaning that the possibility for you to get a good result, A especially, is less. So make sure you do your lab report well, you do your experiments well. Okay, do not copy any of your lab report from previous lab report and from your friend's lab report. Please do it by yourself, your own group. All right. That's all for the course information. Okay, this is your lab report cover that has been provided in the e-learning. Okay. Experiment number, experiment title. Okay, the instructors, the lecturers put it full name here. Your date and time of your experiment, okay, the lab room number, right? Your group members, okay. The contribution, okay. There you see a contribution for every of your group members for the lab report. Okay, it must be, of course, if you have 4 person, it must be 25%, right? But let's say you write there the contribution of one of your friends is less than 25. For example, for 4 members in one group, meaning that there is something wrong, meaning that your friends are not contributing in the lab report. So please tell us, right? So that we know what happens while in your cooperation while writing the report. You see, at the lab report cover, we have show there the marks. Okay, for the logbook and report, if it is clean, tidy, consistent, and well organized, you are to get 5 marks there. For the participation and practice, okay, you do experiment in the teamwork, you do it well, okay, organized and appropriate experimental works, you get 5 marks already. For abstract, you must have a good abstract with introductory, problem statement, summary of method, result, concluding statement. Okay, you have 5 marks. All of this I have told you previously. Okay, so the marks for the lab report, you know the criteria. It is there at the lab report cover. So just follow that. Okay, make sure that you have follow all the criteria so that you have a good result for your lab report. For example, for this part, for the references, okay, your seniors previously, even if it's written there, minimum of 4 references, some of them just put 1 or 2, so that I will deduct the marks. Okay, you will lose your mark here. You should have 5, but you only have maybe 1 or 2 marks there. Okay. For the discussion, okay, the discussion we have 3 separate criteria for discussion. Okay, total of 25 marks there. So this is very important in the discussion. Okay, the way you analyze your result, the way you interpret it, and the way you critical thinking, you put some critical thinking about your results. Okay, and then you put some relevant suggestion. Okay, merge with the latest information and so on. So you get marks there. And then conclusion. Okay, written appropriately. Summarize the findings. Not you discuss again there. Okay, just summarize and reflect it. Reflect it with the theory and the real world problem. Okay, that's all for the lab report. Okay, I think that's all about the briefing. Now I open for the Q&A session for all the students. Do you have questions? Or I need to ask my fellow lecturer's friend if you have something to tell the students. Dr. Amy, Dr. Haas?
Okay, Assalamualaikum.
Waalaikumsalam.
Okay. Thank you, Dr. Faizwan. Basically, you already covered everything. It's just that I want to add some more on the safety and also. Okay, so on the safety wise, let's say you come without the proper PPE, personal protective equipment, such as shoes as well as the correct pants. You are required to actually change. Okay, if let's say you come with slipper, you have to go out, and I would like to suggest that the group cannot start the lab until that one member come back. Is that okay, Dr. Faizwan?
Yes, I agree with that.
Okay, so that means that teamwork and also self-reminder between each other is very important. Okay, if let's say one do the mistake, means the other three have to tanggung lah. Okay, so please come with proper shoes as well as proper pants. Means that short pants are not allowed at all because we are in a chemistry lab. And also, how about the lab coat? Is it allowed to have a short sleeve coat, Dr. Faizwan?
Oh, short sleeve lab coat.
I think it's not allowed. I think it's not proper because
yes.
like acid or base can actually spill on the arm over here.
Your arm, yes. I think for the science lab coat, they are not allowed to use the short sleeve lab coat. It is for medical, I think, right? For the chemistry, biology, and I think physics lab coat, it must be long sleeve.
Okay.
That is science lab coat for me, because I only see the short sleeve lab coat only for medical.
Only for medical, yes.
Yes. So if you wear the short sleeve lab coat, you are not allowed to enter the lab as well, for me. But we have the extra lab coat there at the lab in case in case something happen. But my advice is lab coat is like your gun for scientists. Okay, you must bring it always. Okay, like an army, the guns is really important for them. They always bring the gun. For you are future scientist. The lab coat must always be with you during the lab session.
Yes.
Okay. Why we remind this? Because it's always happened. Some of you forgot to bring the lab coat. Some of you wear short skirts, okay, short pants, not proper shoes to the lab session, and we will ask directly for you to not enter the lab. And Dr. Amy have added that the group cannot start the experiment unless your friends come with a proper, proper shoes, proper pants, with lab coats and so on. So you must do a team working not only in the lab, but before the lab session, you must remind each other. Okay, if you see your friends are not wearing a proper, pants or proper shoes, or not bring the lab coats, please settle it before you enter the lab, so that you can finish your experiment on time. Okay, you get your, because we observe you, okay, on the team working and your discipline in the lab. We observe that, and you have marks for that. So please be careful and remind each other for that in the group. One for all and all for one.
Yes, that's correct. And also it's the same for logbook. I found out that previous students, some of them come with no logbook or incomplete logbook. Okay, I would like to suggest the same thing, just like how the PPE works. If let's say the logbook is not completed, we are going to ask the student to go out of the lab, do it outside, and the group cannot start the experiment as well. Because I think it's not fair for the rest of the students who did the logbook beforehand, and while this one group can start without any effect of it.
Okay. Because we have told you that the logbook, you have prepared it before you enter the lab. And then we will check it, okay? Not one by one to come to see us. No, we go to one by one in the group to see your logbook, okay?
Yes.
Because from your logbook, we know that you have read the manual. You have know what you're going to do on that session. You have planned it well so that your experiment will be performed, in the right, the time given, okay? Because you are not allowed to study the experiment inside the lab, okay? That is the worst case happen if you do so. So that we will deduct the mark, or we will ask you to, like Dr. Amy say, go out from the lab and prepare the logbook first before you enter the lab. Okay. I think it depends on the lecturers. I think I give the power. Okay. You may ask the students to go out from the lab and prepare the logbook first.
Can I add something about the logbook?
Yes, Dr. Haas, please.
Okay. About the logbook, you know that you have to prepare well before you run the experiment. So means that you have to expect what the output of the experiment. So you have to prepare the calculation and also the table that you have to fill in. Okay, and the second one is after you finish your logbook and then we have signed it, authorize it with the result, please submit the answer, not the answer, the initial or raw data of as part of the logbook, the one that we sign on the result in the report as appendix. Get it? So in Malay, your maksudnya awak punya result tu nanti yang selepas tanda tangan awak kena kepilkan dalam logbook. Dalam report, because we want to make sure that you use your own data, not other people's data.
Meaning that they need to
tear off
from their logbook.
Or scan it out lah.
Okay.
You can tear out or scan out. Alright, and then in the result discussion during report writing, because you are writing using your hands, handwriting, so plots should be done in Excel. So means that you have to print out the Excel and cut it out and put it somewhere available, or somewhere that you want to put it out or want to discuss it, or you can even just attach in the middle of it lah. Maksudnya means that you write down all the data and then put the thing that you are the plot that you are referring to, and then continue with the next discussion. That's all for me.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Haas. I repeat again what Dr. Haas said. Okay, for your result, you have write down your result during in your logbook. Okay, during the experiments. Okay, what Dr. Haas suggests is either you tear off from your logbook or you scan it and print it. the result, the real result of your group. Okay. For every group, you must only submit one lab report. Okay, meaning that for all 4 members, for example, in one group, you have similar result, right? Either you can choose one of your logbook in your team members to be tear off and put it in the lab report, or you can scan it. Okay, scan it together with our signature there. You know, every time you finish the experiments, we will put our signature there at your results. Okay, and the date. So just I think it's proper for you to scan it and then print it out and put it in your lab report. That is your result. As a proof, that is your result. You are not using another group result or your seniors results. Okay, meaning that you try to cheat us on that. Okay, because I think this is why we need to do all this, because we are now train you to be to be disciplined, to have your discipline, and to be to have your integrity in writing your scientific report. Okay, whatever you done, that is whatever you report it in your lab report. Okay, that is the thing you report it. Okay, meaning that if you done a mistakes, you report the mistakes in the lab report. It's okay. We are in the learning process. You can do mistakes, but discuss it. Why? And what is your suggestion for to avoid the mistakes? All right. For example, you get the R-square value of your calibrations. It should be the perfect one is 0.999, right? But you only have 0.94, for example. Okay. You can repeat it if you are given an extra time or extra session to do it. But if you are not given the opportunity to do so, so please discuss it. Why you get the square value, for example, why you get it lower than the exact one. Just discuss what is the error and so on. Okay, so I think you can understand that. All right, now I open for the Q&A session. We are almost at 10 o'clock now. I open for the questions. If you guys don't have any questions, meaning that you understand everything and you agree with everything. And we
do
will
they have
use
to sign the form?
Okay.
The lab form.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Haas.
When I write.
Actually, you need to sign the what we call that the safety and regulations
Form.
declarations form. Okay, we will give the form to you during your first lab session. After this, you need to read the safety and lab safety declarations. You must tick it. Okay, there are box there. Tick yes or no, and then you must put your signature there and the date, meaning that you agree with the safety regulations in the lab, and you sign it there and you submit it to us again during your first lab session. I think all the instructors must remember to do this, okay, including me. All right, so that we will collect all the safety regulations declaration from each of the from each of the students, and we collect it. All right, because normally we do the lab briefing at the lab, but now some of you are are still in the isolation and moving process from one hostel to another. So we understand that situation. So due to the pandemic, so we do this online. Okay, there's question from Nur Ain Arifah, doctor, about the logbook. What type of logbook would you prefer for us to use? The hardcover book or just a ordinary logbook with a soft cover? No, either hardcover or soft cover is okay. As the most important thing is there is a logbook for you that you write. You prepare your lab. Preparation before you enter the lab. Do we need to bring goggle? No. You don't need to bring goggle. We have that in our lab. If you ask to do so, we will ask you to wear the goggle. We have the goggle. But if you have by your own, yes, why not? You just bring it.
Dr. Faizwan,
Yes.
I would suggest for the student to bring their own goggle.
Okay.
Most of the goggles inside the lab are quite
Okay, it's a good condition.
not in good condition. It's
Okay,
pretty big,
Amy?
and I would suggest
Okay.
them to buy from Mr. DIY. It's only RM2.50.
Okay.
Okay, so it's really small, so it's more suitable for those ladies with a hijab and so on.
Okay. So you can bring your own goggle. Dr. Amy suggests that you can buy it at the Mr. DIY. Am I correct?
Yes.
Okay. Those who wear glasses kena pakai goggle as well. Yes, goggle it can fit with glasses, right?
Dia dekat luar.
Hmm.
It's outer part of your main glass.
But for those who wear glasses, there is already a protection for your eyes. Okay. But-
Another one. If possible, don't wear a contact lens.
Yes.
It's possible. It's not permitted
Allowed.
because it can actually like kembang inside your eye.
Yes, it can absorb any chemical inside the lab, right?
Yes.
So please, another thing for the safety regulation is please do not wear the contact lens. Okay, wear your glasses, not contact lens.
Oh, by the way, the basic question we ask for any science student in chemistry, even though it's very rare, but I think the question of is anybody having pregnancy, so we have to know as well.
Oh yes.
Because we are dealing with chemicals. If let's say you are on pregnancy stage, okay, just let the instructor know. Okay.
Okay. Dr. Amy add that you need to tell us, especially for girls, okay, if there are from all of you, if there are someone who pregnant, okay, please tell us, because we are dealing with chemicals, a lot of chemicals. So some of them are quite dangerous for pregnant women. So you need to tell us, okay? You just PM your instructors, okay? Tell us that, for example, you are pregnant and you can, for us, we will need to ensure that
Drop the subject.
we can ensure the experiment is safe for you. Doctor, for the logbook, long or short logbook would prefer for us? I prefer long one, right? The short one is like a buku sekolah.
Yeah, for me, both are okay as long as you can attach with
Okay.
your report later on, because we want that as a proof.
Because my son at the primary school, they have the science subject, okay, and use a long type of logbook. That is primary school, and for us, we are at university, okay. So of course lah, okay, be proper lah, long lah. We prefer the long logbook, okay. Because the short one is you will write that your diagram will be small, okay, everything will be small there. Doctor, if you have a short sleeve lab coat, is it really necessary to buy a new one? My advice is yes. As I told you, the short sleeve lab coat is for the medical purpose. It's for doctors. Okay, because my wife is a pharmacist. She wear a short sleeve lab coat. Okay, but we are as a scientist, chemists, biologists, we wear a long sleeve lab coat. Okay, for the protection of our arm and so on. Okay. Doctor, do we need to write only the procedure in logbook, or do we add objective as well? All right, for the logbook, the first thing that you need to have is your title of your experiment. Okay, and then objective is not so important there, but the thing is your procedure. How you going to organize it? How you going to organize the experiments? What is the thing that you need to do first, second, third, and so on? Right? What is your precaution there? Objective is not compulsory. Doctor, can I ask about the lab coat? Can we use our matriculation lab coat, but the sleeve is a quarter size? Is it considered short of sleeve too? Is it considered short sleeve too? Yes, you can use the matriculation lab coat. Quarter is okay for me. Okay, quarter is okay for me lah. Okay, because maybe for girls you have your long sleeve. Especially for Muslim, you have your long sleeve. Already cover your arm. Okay, but my advice is the normal lab coat. Okay, why not you buy the UTM lab coat? We okay at the lab. We have Mr. Ali there at the Makmal Analysis 2 C18102. Makmal Analysis 2 C18102. There is Mr. Ali there. You can buy the lab coat with him with the UTM logo. Okay, meet him, buy from him. I think it's about 80 ringgit or something like that. Okay. Can you give us some time to get the new one? Of course, we are giving you some time because this is you have another 1 week. Okay. Next week will be your lab session on Thursday, so you have time to buy it. Okay.
If they are doing on Sunday, anyone doing on Sunday?
No. All are
okay.
Thursdays.
Thursday,
Okay.
then that's okay.
Yeah.
And then usually it's available when you go to Mr. Ali.
Yeah, Mr. Ali. Yes.
Yeah, he can order within short time. As long as you go early lah, not on Thursday. Go.
Okay, I write here. You can
Sunday.
buy from Mr. Ali at C18102 lab.
If he is not there, you can call him. The
Yes.
phone number is there.
His phone number, Mr. Ali, is there at the front of the lab. At the front door of the lab. Okay. There's the Mr. Ali number there. Okay, but he's always there at the working hours. All right. Any other questions? We are 10. Okay, we are 5 minutes. Okay. 5 minutes past 10. Okay. You have any questions? So what about the dress code? The procedure doctor prefer in drawing or dress code? I have okay. Saya Hira Nokaraju. Okay. The dress code I have we have mentioned previously, but not so maybe not you are not understand yet. You must wear either you must wear long pants, right? Not a short pants or short skirts. Skirts are also not allowed. Dr. Has kan? Skirt allowed ke? Allowed kan? Dr. Has tak dengar?
I think long skirt is okay.
Okay,
Asal
long skirt,
tak
okay.
kembang lah. Sebab kat baju kurung kan.
Second,
boleh pakai
not
juga.
an A-shaped skirt. Okay. Okay, a long skirt allowed, but not
And then tak
kembang
melirik
one
lah.
not A-shaped.
Tak melirik. Jangan melirik atas
lah.
lantai. Kata nanti
Not so long.
jatuh.
Okay, but long pants are preferred. The procedure, doctor prefer in drawing or writing? What do you mean? Yes, if I told you, you must use diagrams. Okay, in your procedure. Okay.
So drawing lah.
Drawings lah. Okay, and also some writing lah there kan.
If not, you don't understand what you write.
Yes. If you only draw, what are you draw there? Must not down the something there.
You don't have to have.
You.
You don't have to have perfect sketch of apparatus,
Yes.
but as long as you can recognize, then that's okay.
You understand your own writing and drawing. That's all. Okay. Any questions? No questions? All right. If there is no questions, so I think we can conclude here. I hope you understand whatever, all the things that we have told you during this lab briefing session. Oh, another question. Doctor, for the shirt, should we have to wear formal shirt or just normal t-shirt? All right. You must follow the UTM dress code. Okay. A t-shirt with a collar. Okay, not round neck t-shirt. Okay. As long as you follow the UTM dress code. Okay. And it's also suitable for you to enter the lab. For example, long pants. Okay. Long skirt with not A shape. Right. It's easy for you to handle experiments, not really, you know, a decorative dress and so on that make you difficult to handle the experiments. Okay. The proper way of dress code to do the experiments and must follow UTM dress code as well. All right. All right. Welcome. Wei Jing. Welcome. Okay. Any questions? Okay, I hope you understand because we are 10 o'clock, no, 10 past 10 o'clock already. Okay. I hope you can understand the things that we have briefed you today. And you can practice it. I have recorded this session, and I will upload it in the e-learning. Okay. You can refer again and again about the briefing session. I will put in the YouTube channel and I put it in the e-learning. Okay, so I think there are no more questions now. No. Dr. Amy, you want to add something? Dr. Amy is not online, I think. Oh, okay. Oh, there.
I don't have anything else.
All right. So,
Sorry,
Dr. Has, you have something?
No, I don't have anything. Thank you so much for attending.
All right. So, boys and girls, see you next Thursday for section 1 and 2. 1 and section 3. Okay, section 1 for SSCG and section 3 for SSCB. Okay, you must know where your lab where is your lab location. Okay, come early. Okay, and then so that we should start our experiment and finish it on time. All right. That's all. If you have anything else, you can just ask me in the WhatsApp group or just personal message to me. Okay. I think thank you for participating in this lab briefing. Okay. All the best for your lab session for all your 4 experiments. Okay. And do your best as well, especially in writing the reports. Okay. Contribute for the reports and aim for the highest mark. Okay. All right. Thank you and assalamualaikum.
Assalamualaikum.
Dr. Amy, Dr. Has, thank you.
Thank you too.
Thank you, Doctor.
All right. Welcome.
Thank you, Doctor.
Welcome. Welcome, Raja Putri and Putri Nadila. Oh, a lot of Putri here. Raja Putri Nurul Atira, Raja Ahmad, and also Putri Nadila. Oh, we have a lot of princess in our labs. All right, thank you and bye-bye.